Mysterious and isolated, North Korea is like the ultimate adventure for those daring enough to explore. Dive into the wild world of this secretive nation and discover some of its strangest and most fascinating customs. The female army. According to South Korean estimates, about 20% of North Korea's armed forces are women. Every able-bodied man is required to serve for 7 or 8 years, while women who enlist must serve for 5 years. Although female enlistment is officially voluntary, the government has increasingly pressured women to join in recent years, making it almost obligatory. Mandatory portraits. In the 1970s, North Koreans were required to display portraits of Kim Il-sung in their homes, with the mandate later extending to all public spaces. By the late 1970s, portraits of Kim Jong-il were added beside Kim Il-sung's. Since the early 1990s, both portraits have been the same size and always displayed together. Today, portraits of the leaders are everywhere in North Korea. The rules for displaying and maintaining them are strict. The portraits must be hung on the most prominent wall, usually in the living room, with nothing else on that wall. They must be kept clean, perfectly centered, and any sign of disrespect towards them is considered a criminal offense. Underground subway. North Korea's Pyongyang Metro is the deepest in the world, with tunnels running 360 feet underground. While it's mostly used by commuters, the metro could also serve as a bomb shelter if nuclear war ever breaks out. Spanning 18 miles, the system includes 2 lines beneath the capital. Construction kicked off in 1968, and it was officially opened in 1973 by Kim Il-sung. Photos show locals using this massive underground network, which could double as a nuclear bunker in case of a conflict with the US. Trying to escape. It is hard to impossible and against the law to get out of the country for citizens. To emphasize this, North Korea has been placing mines and strengthening barbed wire fences at several points within the demilitarized zone. Additionally, the country has built electrified barbed wire fences to prevent people from using a newly constructed bridge as an escape route to China. However, residents feel that instead of these measures, the government should prioritize providing food and consistent electricity to its citizens so they wouldn't feel the need to flee in the first place. Overseas slave labor. These workers are working in Russia, but they aren't Russian. They're from the secretive, totalitarian state of North Korea. These workers live in guarded compounds, which human rights groups describe as state-sponsored slave labor intended to generate foreign currency for Kim Jong-un's regime. It's difficult to speak with the North Korean laborers because they are terrified of stepping out of line. They don't receive a salary for their work. Several high-profile state-funded construction projects such as this bridge have been completed with the help of North Korean laborers. They are cheap and reliable. By sending labor brigades abroad, Kim Jong-un can collect hard currency while his people live on the brink of starvation. These workers are trapped in a twilight zone, temporarily out of North Korea's totalitarian nightmare, but still under Kim Jong-un's control. Strange laws. In North Korea, engaging with foreign music or films is a crime with harsh penalties. In 2015, Kim Jong-un ordered the destruction of banned media to curb dissent. Making international calls is also illegal. In 2007, a man was executed for it. Falling asleep during a meeting where Kim Jong-un is speaking can result in execution, as happened to Defense Minister Hyun Yong-chol in 2015. Disrespecting Kim Jong-un's family, the government, or politicians is considered blasphemy and severely punished. Driving is restricted to male government officials, and women are prohibited from driving. Only 1% of the population is allowed to own a car. On July 8th, the anniversary of Kim Il-sung's death, smiling, loud talking, dancing, or drinking alcohol is forbidden, with violations leading to labor camps or execution. Jeans are banned as a symbol of capitalism, and women must wear knee-covering skirts. Bikinis are forbidden. North Koreans can only access 3 government-controlled TV channels. Travel abroad requires government permission, and those who try to flee are sent to labor camps or executed. Internet access is limited to the government-controlled intranet, Kwangmyong, with only 28 websites available under strict supervision. North Korea is officially atheist, with religious freedom non-existent. Distributing Bibles is punishable by death. Tourists must surrender their electronic devices upon entering the country, and their movements are closely monitored. Families can be collectively punished for an individual's crime or suicide. Power outages occur nightly due to an energy crisis, with electricity use requiring permission. Owning a microwave is illegal. Newlyweds must visit Kim Il-sung's statue after their ceremony, and weddings are banned on the birthdays of Kim Jong-un and Kim Il-sung. Mothers must give birth alone and cannot see their family for a week after. Triplets are taken by the state and returned at age 4. The Hotel of Doom. Let's dive into the curious tale of the Ryugyong Hotel, also known as the Hotel of Doom or the Ukyung Hotel. This towering giant, North Korea's tallest building, stands at a jaw-dropping 1080 feet and is named after the capital of Willows. Construction kicked off in 1987, but thanks to North Korea's economic rollercoaster, the project has been stop and go for over 3 decades. The Ryugyong Hotel was designed to be a marvel, boasting 3,000 guest rooms, 5 revolving restaurants, and an observation deck with panoramic views. Despite the grand plans and a whopping $750 million price tag, this impressive structure has never opened its doors to guests. Curious to see what's inside? Let's take a peek. Mothers and children. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un had a rather emotional moment at a 2-day conference for the country's mothers, where he urged them to send their children to do hard labor as a way to combat foreign influence. He spoke passionately about the rising issue of antisocial behavior among young kids and the concerning decline in birth rates, urging mothers to raise their children as true patriots. In a surprising turn of events, Kim Jong-un even broke down in tears during his speech, which left the room full of mothers wiping their eyes too. Basketball. In 1996, Kim Jong-il became obsessed with basketball, turning it into a national craze. By October, he ordered schools and government offices to embrace the sport, an unprecedented move for North Korea. Within 2 years, every high school and military unit had to have a team, and counties were required to offer training courses. Despite economic hardships, Kim ordered basketball courts built nationwide, from cities to military schools, even making basketball manufacturing a priority. North Korea's Basketball Association introduced unique rules. Slam dunks were worth 3 points, perfect three-pointers earned 4, missed free throws lost a point, last-second shots got 8 points, and games could end in a tie. It is unclear if they still live by these rules today. Embalmed former leaders. Inside the Kumsusan Palace of the Sun, you'll find Kim Il-sung's embalmed body resting in a glass case, head on a buckwheat pillow and covered by the Workers' Party flag. Nearby, Kim Jong-il is on display in a nearly identical setup. Both were embalmed by Russian experts who regularly return to maintain the bodies. To see them, you glide on a travelator, no walking allowed, through a kilometre of hallways lined with gold-framed photos and guided by Korean orchestral music. Privileged women in Pyongyang carefully tending a small grass patch with stick brooms. Inside, the palace is grand and eerie. Giant white statues of the leaders dominate a dim, red-lit space that echoes like a church. Ceremonial flowers are presented at the feet of 2 giant white marble statues of both leaders. Armed soldiers stand guard as visitors bow in sync. Massive air blowers are installed to remove every speck of dust from clothing. Visiting is a formal affair, and even school trips are arranged to see the embalmed leaders.